Perfection is the lowest standard anyone can have. It leaves no room for growth. While completing a task perfectly may feel good for a little while, it's through our mistakes that we develop our greatest strengths and find life's impactful lessons. That is from Tony Robbins, How to Change Your Story. Perfection is
Wow.
what we're talking about today.
Let's do it.
And the lowest
Well,
standard anyone can have. I have dirty hair today. I chose to put a hat on so that, because I'm not perfect.
and I just wear a hat every day because that's just who I am.
And that's good too.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's
Nobody's
perfect.
perfect. And I love how he says it's the lowest standard anyone can have. Because
Mm,
also we find too, especially in kids, teens, they want to be so perfect for everything
yeah.
that they never get anything done,
Mm-hmm.
or they never feel good about anything they produce.
Yeah. And
And
they're
anything
scared.
else is not, is, yeah, and they're scared, and
Mm-hmm.
anything else from perfection is not worthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they see it in social media, because all of, those things in social media, they've been filtered, they've been tweaked and changed. I mean, I've heard about this app that they have now,
Mm-hmm.
where you can go in and we'll change all your features to make you look thinner and more, take away all your acne and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Yeah. I tried doing it and I still look like this. So what do I do? Oh, just joking. But yeah, I mean, social media is a huge, huge part of this all because I don't know where I mentioned this. Maybe it was on one of the podcasts, but I said that social media is literally a highlight reel for someone's life. They're
It is.
showing you the perfect moments in their life,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
They're showing you the perfection, quote unquote,
Yeah.
within all the imperfection.
Yep.
You're not getting 99.9% of the story. You're getting that 0.1% that they're willing to show you, right? And that's what
Right.
everyone does. Everyone's sharing the good moments.
Yeah.
And when it comes to perfection, just in general, like Tony says, perfection doesn't allow any growth. Because if you think
Mhm.
about it, if you think that perfection is what you're striving for and everything, right? That means that perfection is the result, it's the end goal. But then what?
Yeah.
Then what do you do? Then there's no
Right.
there's no point, there's no purpose, there's nothing that happens later on.
Right.
And it also means that I think we know this, perfection just doesn't exist,
Mm-mm.
right? We are all different. We all have our flaws, we all have our weaknesses, and at the same time, we also have our strengths, right?
Yep.
But that's what makes us who we are. And ultimately, if we are striving for this idea of perfection, right? What we believe perfection is, we're just going to be disappointed
Yeah.
because
And,
it
and
doesn't
and what
exist.
is it?
Yeah.
I mean, is that actress, or whatever, this famous actress on the cover of a magazine, is that perfection? Or is the other one over here on the
Yeah,
magazine perfection? I mean, they're different. Which one? There is no
completely.
perfection.
Hmm.
And
And
it's been airbrushed, and it's been all this other stuff. I mean, we know all this, but we just forget.
yeah.
I think when we're looking at these images of how they are not real.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
And also now going back to like the parents and teens, right? Your teen is probably the furthest thing from your idea of perfection
mhm.
because that's like how can you expect your teenager, right, to
Yeah,
be perfect when they're still discovering who they are? You know,
exactly.
you might have
Yeah.
an idea of how you want them to be as soon as possible. Like you might see these teenage stars or teenage millionaires and stuff like that, and you might be like, "Oh, that's where my teen should be." But how do you know that that teenage star or that teenage millionaire is not going through the hardest time of their life behind the scenes?
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And like think I'll take Justin Bieber as an example, right?
Mm.
His story, his story arc especially, right, has been up, down, up, down, up, down. You know, he started off as this teenage like child star, right? He got a lot of visibility. He became famous at a really young age. But then if you've seen any of his documentaries and him speaking and stuff, I mean, I'm a huge Justin Bieber fan, by the way, so I know quite a bit about him. But like his story was one where when he was young, like he got sucked into the wrong things very early on
Mhm.
because he was just a normal kid trying to figure out life, except he was being seen by everyone,
Yeah.
right? He had all this pressure on him at a young age. So you might see him and be like, "Oh man," you might be jealous of him because oh he has access to all these cars and money and fame and all of that stuff. But he was struggling. He was struggling the entire time. So you almost have to ask yourself like, is that what you want? You know?
Yeah.
Is that the reality that you want for yourself?
Hmm.
And is that the reality that you want for your teen as
Right.
parents?
Yeah.
Right? So I almost want to say like perfection doesn't exist, but it does on a personal level for yourself. Like you are who you are and that is okay and that is enough and that is perfect,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But you don't have to compare yourself to anyone else.
Yeah. We get the definition mixed up, I
Yeah.
guess, to be perfectly imperfect as you,
Mm,
right?
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
you know, so I'm covering them up right now, but me, I struggle thinking, oh my gosh, my ears are, it's awful, right? I
Mm,
hide my ears because they stuck out. And honestly, if I would have just accepted them, my life would have been better.
yeah.
Imperfect ears. Okay, they're not perfect, but
Yeah.
they're fun,
Yeah. And also,
or
and but who also, who defines what perfect ears look like,
exactly.
you know?
True. Yeah.
Like, who, it's almost like, okay, is perfect ears, imperfect ears, at the end of the day, I mean, they're ears, you know?
They
Like,
function.
they
I
function,
should
they
be
work.
I should be happy they function because
Yeah.
some people's don't. And so, yeah,
Mm,
it's such a weird thing. And I just know so many people struggle with it.
yeah.
And as a teacher, I've seen it happen with students where they they just they can't, an assignment's never completed because they constantly tweaking because it's not perfect yet.
Yeah.
Or and then what happens when they get it where they think it's perfect,
Yeah.
but then somebody else goes, well, it's not because of this. Or
Yeah.
the teacher goes, well, I'm giving you a B because of this. And it's like, but it's perfect.
Yeah.
Maybe it's to them, to you, what,
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And I want
and
to,
it's just not worth the achieving it
mm,
in your brain because somebody else may say, no, it's not.
yeah. Yeah. Susan, I want to bring something up and I want to get your perspective on this because I want to talk about like the school system and how it works because
Mm.
the notion of perfection and wanting to be perfect, I think a lot of it comes from there. The
Mm-hmm.
reason why I say that is because, like the way students are graded, right? So you either have like the letter system, so A, B, C, D, F, or you have the percentages, right? Out of 100.
Yep.
You have a very specific measurement of perfection.
Mm-hmm.
100% on a test is a perfect test. It's a perfect score.
Exactly.
So, nice one. So from a very young age, right? Um, children, teenagers, young people are being primed to aim for perfection.
Yep.
Do you think that the system is flawed in any way because
Oh,
of that?
100%. It is flawed. Yes. And I think it's going to be changing in the near future. I hope so anyway. But yeah, it hasn't changed in forever. It's been the
Yeah.
same way. We cheer on the valedictorian who gets, the highest grades in the school and all that stuff. Well, okay. So maybe they're good at acing tests or they write good essays. I don't know. But in the end, it doesn't get them anything. And honestly, when you go for a job, they don't look at your GPA.
Yeah.
They just see, did you graduate? It's not, Like, so take, for example, so my daughter was in college at Western Washington University. So it's a typical traditional university grading system, and all of it there, GPA and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And but she struggled. Of course, COVID didn't help, but she struggled. And she was just like, I don't like being in big classes. I don't learn this way. I don't multiple choice tests and all this stuff. And she struggled for a bit. And then she found through her friends that there's a college within the college that's a little more progressive. And so it's like, there are no grades, there's pass or fail. There are no multiple choice tests. It's writing essays or reflecting on what you learned. And
Yeah.
that's how you either pass or fail. And then you get your degree with no
Mm-hmm.
GPA, because that doesn't matter,
Yeah.
and she learned so much better,
Mm-hmm.
retained so much more, learning that way
Yeah.
than studying to get an A on a multiple choice test where you
Yeah.
forget half the crap afterwards
Yeah.
that you had to study for because you did it so fast to ace it on a stupid test.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I used to do that too. Because school for me on a personal level, like, um, I didn't enjoy the academic part of school so much, even
Mm-hmm.
though I did push myself a lot and I did my best to get the best grades that I could. And I did pretty well. But the reason why I was able to do well is because I gamified it a lot. I made it a competition because that's what my background is, I guess, especially with soccer. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a score, right? It was a score for me. So I'd try and
Mm-hmm.
get the best grade of the class, or I'd try and reach those numbers. It was always a numbers game for me. It was never actually about the learning. And it
Right.
just means, like, looking back, I mean, I look back at all my education, I don't remember much, right? There are
Yeah.
certain things that obviously it stays with you because,
Yeah.
you were interested potentially. But there's so much that it just went by. Like, I remember I just memorized things for tests, write down the test, and then as I was writing things down, I was just forgetting them. Like, I was just putting everything that was up here onto the
Yeah.
paper, and then boom, done. Move on to the next one. Right?
Yeah.
Just to get that good mark, to get that good
Mm-hmm.
grade, get the 90% or the 95 or possibly the
Mm-hmm.
100 or whatever. In France, the system's a bit different. It's out of 20.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm.
yeah, I mean, that's the way I do it.
Well, and then research has shown too that the majority of successful entrepreneurs were C students.
There we go.
They weren't the A students, they were the C students.
Hmm.
Because the A students are striving so much for perfection that when
Yeah.
they get out into the real world and it's not celebrated,
Mm.
it's not, it doesn't give you an advantage. They don't know what to do with it,
Yeah.
So um, yeah, there is no such thing as perfection. It's not what we're striving for.
Hmm.
We're striving for trying, failing, learning.
Yeah.
All those entrepreneurs, those C student entrepreneurs, they didn't give up. They just kept going and they
Hmm.
failed a lot.
Yeah.
All those successful people out there who have found their dreams, have made big companies or invented products or things that have helped our world, they failed many, many times. There's no such thing as perfection.
Yeah.
And so we got to be careful that our kids don't feel like they have to be perfect.
Mm.
We celebrate the learning out of the failure.
Yeah.
When they get that A, great. I saw how hard you tried
Yeah.
rather than the A.
Hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
They get the B or the C. Saw how hard you tried, you know,
Hmm.
or, you didn't get the A because did you study
Yeah.
or did it matter to you?
Hmm.
You know, does it matter?
Yeah.
So,
And and
mhm,
also, like, when it comes to like grades and stuff, I know as a kid and even then growing up and stuff, like, you identify and you give yourself a label of being smart or not smart based off of the
mhm.
grades that you get at school,
Yep,
right?
yep,
But honestly,
yep,
it's all BS.
100%. Yes, it
It's
is.
all BS,
It is.
right? just because you're able to listen to the teacher and then memorize everything and then write things down and reproduce it on a test, like what I was able to do, that didn't make me, that's not the reason why, like, I'm smart, quote unquote, right? I just tried to memorize whatever the teacher was saying and then I wrote it down and that's all I did,
Yeah.
right?
No, I agree.
But it doesn't mean anything. That's not how
Mm-mm.
you define someone's intelligence, right? It's a
Mm-mm.
similar thing, like, okay, a comedian, right? A comedian is not funny because of their, like, they don't do knock knock jokes, right? It's not the jokes that are funny. It's the delivery. It's who they are. It's the way they present it. That's what makes a comedian funny,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the stories that they tell,
And
right?
oftentimes they're making fun of themselves.
So many times,
Right.
right? And but that's what makes them amazing. That's what makes it great. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if I were to go head to head with a comedian, I don't know which one we could take, but like, let's say Kevin Hart, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Hart gives me his script, and him and I, we go up on stage and he delivers the joke and I deliver the joke, right? Odds are I'm getting tomatoes thrown at me and he's getting a standing ovation. I mean,
Yeah.
let's just be honest. Because of who he is and how he
Yeah.
delivers it. He's a funny
Right.
guy,
Yeah.
right?
Same
So
exact script. Yeah.
exactly. And that's what I'm saying. It's like when it comes
The
to
script
school, but
is perfect.
also, yeah, it's all, everything's there. Everything is there. And it's the same thing in
Yeah.
school. Everyone's given the same tests. Everyone's given the same measurements when it comes to grades and everything. But
Yep.
that does not define who you are. And that's something that
Mm-mm.
I think teenagers need to understand. And as parents, the biggest thing here is to help them understand that because
Mhm.
they have peer pressure. They have their classmates around them who might be talking about how great they are and how much they're doing and the grades that they get and all that stuff. And that might put pressure on your teen. But if they're able to understand where their value is, that they are worth it, that they are smart, that they do have
Mhm.
qualities, that they are perfect in their own way, not perfect when it comes to comparing themselves to hundreds and thousands of
No.
other people, but perfect because of who they are.
Mhm.
That's a really, really powerful thing for them to
Yeah.
understand.
Well said, Rayhan. Well said.
Appreciate that, Susie Q.
Yeah. Well, we certainly aren't perfect. I mean,
Speak for
you
yourself,
know.
Susan. Look at me.
I
Look at this little flap that I have on my hat. Come on.
know. Yeah. Well, okay. I think, oh, another New York hat. Who do you
Yeah.
think you are, man?
Hey, look, I'm from
Are you a
Toronto.
Yankee fan? Are you a Yankee fan, really?
No,
It's just cool.
it was just like it was the cheapest hat that I could find, if I'm being
Nah,
honest.
nah. It was cool. It's a
Yeah, I mean,
status
it's a
thing.
style. Yeah.
It's a style.
All right, we're just messing around now.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we make it very clear that perfection is not a perfect thing. It's the lowest standard you could go, according to Tony Robbins,
Yeah,
and it leaves no room for growth. It just makes you feel like you're never going to be enough,
yeah,
and it's not worth it. Get rid of it. No, and especially make sure your teens know that there is no such thing as
yeah.
perfection. And
There's
that's
there's no such thing as perfection, but they are perfect in their own way. So very contradictory. Try and sell that
yes,
to them.
yes. They are a masterpiece.
Ooh, I love that.
I know. Doesn't that sound good?
Yeah,
I am a masterpiece.
that's
Hmm.
pretty empowering.
It is empowering.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something to maybe embrace.
Nice. Love it. Alrighty.
Okay.
Well, I do want to say one thing. If anyone wants to
Hmm.
sponsor this podcast, then feel free to reach out to us.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
new one.
Why not, huh?
Yeah, why not?
We're accepting offers from Apple, Amazon, Spotify as well. If you guys, why not? Uh,
Yeah.
one day it'll come.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, go out to the imperfect world. Actually, nature's pretty perfect because it's amazing how it works
Yeah.
in a way. Although, you know what? Even in nature, things grow that aren't perfect. But you know what? The seasons and the cycle of life is amazing, right?
Yeah,
It is amazing.
it's balance,
It is. Yeah.
you know? And balance is a mix of imperfections.
Yes, it is.
Ooh, that was really good too. We're dropping quite a few little quotes here, Susan. It's pretty good.
Okay, everyone, we'll see you next week. If you really think that you're not sure how to say it to your teen who's a perfectionist, share this with them.
Hmm.
Let them hear it from somebody besides you.
Yeah, might help them.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh, and by the way, we do have teen specials. So they are videos. They're on YouTube only, I believe. Are they on
yeah,
YouTube only?
yeah.
On YouTube only, because they are visual. So check those out on our YouTube channel at Teen
Hmm.
Talks Pod.
Yep, you'll see them. There's a special playlist for teen specials only. I don't know what we've called them though. Call them something different, but they're teen specific videos. You'll be able to see them. It's pretty straightforward. But yeah, they're amazing. We cover things that are specifically for teenagers to help them with specific topics and specific challenges that they might be facing. And
Mhm.
yeah, they're more dynamic than these podcasts where right now we're having a conversation, whereas those videos are, more dynamic, more engaging and stuff because it's better for them. It's easier for them to consume that. So
Mhm.
yeah.
All right.
Alrighty, take care everyone.
Cover the bases. Okay. Bye.
Bye.